Welcome in to the Stand Balance Podcast, the sports podcast for the people. I'm your host, Kari P, here alongside Howard and KY. How y'all doing today, man?
Good,
Good.
good.
Yo, the trade deadline came and the deadline has gone. There's a lot of interesting trades, the major one, but we're not gonna get into that one first. We're gonna save, that trade for last because I feel like we're gonna have a lot to talk about with that one. How y'all feel about that?
There's there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot to break down. Say the best for last.
Yeah, definitely. So for this first one we're gonna get into one that's pretty interesting to me. They sent Marvin Bagley out to Detroit. The Clippers got Sammy Ojale in that trade with Rodney Hood. Milwaukee got Serge Ibaka, a couple of second round picks and some cash consideration. And Sacramento got DiVincenzo, Josh Jackson, and Trey Lyles. How y'all feeling about this trade? Don't all speak at once.
I was waiting on you.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Um, so I'll go team by team, right? So for Detroit, um, I mean, he was the number 2 pick for a reason. He hasn't really translated to the league, but he's still young. So you have a young team. He kind of fits the timeline. Worst case scenario is he busts, and you don't owe him anything next year because they already declined his option. So that's that with them. The Clippers, it's kind of just a salary dump with Serge. I don't think Rodney Hood or Sammy Ojale will have any kind of role on that team besides something catastrophic happening. They could get bought out, to be honest. As far as the more interesting 2 teams is the Bucks. I like the move for Serge Ibaka because if he has something left in the tank and something to give them as far as like during their postseason run, that's the kind of guy. That's the kind of guy you want on that team because you don't know. I feel like they bring him in because they don't know how long this thing with Brook Lopez is going to last. And so what they've been having trouble with is they're lacking size. So Giannis has been running the 5 with Bobby Portis, but when they play like dominant bigs, they're getting pounded in the paint. So Serge Ibaka kind of stabilizes the position. He's not, the superstar, the defensive star where he used to be, but he's a veteran and he knows how to get to his spots and he's a smart player. And that's the kind of guy you want on a championship caliber team. As far as Sacramento goes, I think that they won the trade. For one, you get DiVincenzo, who's young, fits the timeline with Sabonis, Fox, whoever. He's that 3-point shooter that you lost with Buddy Hyde. He's not as accurate as Buddy Hyde, but he is a shooter and he's a good cutter. From all those years playing with Giannis. So that's something that you need when you're running that pick and roll with Sabonis and Fox. Is another guy to linger around the perimeter and cut to the basket when you need him to. And then they're just rounding out their bench because I think they're going to try and make a run for the plan. So Trey Lyles is a solid big man off the bench, and so is Josh Jackson. He's an athletic wing player.
So with Bagley, what I'm trying to figure out, right, where do we fit on this team? Because Jeremy Grant did not move today. They still got pieces there. So do you think he come in? Where do you think he fit out on this team?
I think so. When the trade first came out, I was like, okay, they're getting some insurance for when Jeremiah Grant goes out, so they can give him a look at the 4 and see what they fully. Because he never really got a full season as a starter. They looked for any reason not to have him in the starting lineup. So I don't think he got a fair chance, and then injuries piled up. So I don't know. I mean, if their plan is to go with the younger dudes on this team or like that, and they're gonna, play Jeremiah Grant sparingly, and try and trade him in the offseason, I think like the last 15, 20 games of the season, they give the keys to the power forward spot to Bagley. They might even shut Jeremiah Grant down. I mean, it's speculative, but if they want to see what they have in him, because once the season's over, I mean, either they re-sign him or he's a free agent. So I would want to see what is there. And also, I mean, he can compete with Isaiah Stewart. So you never know. They might have bring him in to compete with Isaiah Stewart, to get him more developed along the way. So,
Or what you thinking, man?
So the 4-team trade, honestly, I think everybody wins this one. I don't think there's a huge winner. I think everyone got what they wanted to get done. That's why I think these 4-team trades are kind of interesting. Like everyone can push it. Well, I need this to happen. Well, I need this. And it's it's interesting how that happens, and you don't see that in like football or anything else. So that's what makes this trade deadline, more fascinating than most. So yeah, I don't know. There's no clear winner. I agree with everything K-Wall said though about Bagley. Yeah, give him a shot. Why not? You don't lose anything. You're like one of the worst teams. You're not going to get any better.
Yeah.
I definitely think that was a great move for the Pistons to pair him with Cade. I feel like him and Cade can honestly move. Him, Cade, Isaiah Stewart. I feel like that can be a nice young core if they develop it right. I definitely think that they probably got that. I like the move to Milwaukee, so they can get size. That was an important part. Thirds can kind of play center, which will help a lot with Portis and Giannis. Um, like Sack, it was a decent trade. You know, it brings in pieces that they recently got rid of, but it's like, why'd you get rid of? But hey, I mean, I guess it makes sense.
I mean, because they still have Sacramento still has dudes that are they're waiting to get back from injury. Like Mo Harkless plays a pivotal role for them off the bench, and so does Terrence Davis. So you mix in Josh Jackson, you mix in Trey Lyles, and now, I'm not trying to hype these guys up like these guys have been world beaters their whole career, but you have a collection of guys that's mixed with vets and youth on the bench. So they're clearly trying to build a playoff team to make them not, to put up a fight in the play-in, because they're not that far back. And then with the Bagley thing, one last thing I want to touch on was that if they do give him a run, right, and he fits like a glove with this team, you basically just got your starting power forward for free. You know what I'm saying? You bought low, and he's gonna pay you off because you don't next year. You have because the reason why I'm saying that they don't have to pay him is because they have a team option. When you get your 5th-year decline on your rookie contract, it converts to a team option if you're traded. So if he would have stayed with the Kings, he would have been a free agent. Because he got traded, the team that inherits him gets the team option on him. So they could activate that team option. It's only like $4 million. So you got your starting power forward for $4 million compared to whatever they're paying Jeremiah Grant. And he fits the timeline with Killian Hayes, Sadiq Bey, Cade, Stewart, and whoever else they're going to bring in the draft because they're probably going to have another high draft pick. So if you could solve it, buying low on somebody, then I mean that's a shrewd move, but we have yet to see. I'm not expecting anything really to come out of it. If something comes out of it, good on them.
I noticed
But
that all three of us are skipping over the Clippers part of this trade.
because
Like, do you feel like they're just bringing in a lot of guys at the same position, just to, like,
yeah, they've brung in like 6 forwards over like the past 2 days. Like,
yeah, what sense does this make?
that's what I said. They're either these guys are just gonna be either they were trying to get rid of Serge's contract, and get maybe like a 2nd-round pick out of it, and then buy out Hood and Ojale, which their contracts aren't expensive at all, so it wouldn't take nothing. Or they're just trying to build some depth.
Definitely. All right, let's move on. So the Celtics recently acquired Bol in the trade, but we shipped them right back out to the Magic for a 2nd-round pick. Do you think he'll finally be able to get burned down in Orlando? Or do you think this is just a lot of the same for Bol? It's just how his career gonna be.
It's the short end of the stick. You play that game, y'all pull sticks right there. Whoever the shortest gets kind of like effed over. That's what it is. I mean, they already got their centers with Bamba and Carter, Okiki. I mean, if they're not gonna be competitive, same thing with Bagley. Like, shit, see what he could do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, shit, what's the worst that could happen? He's actually good and he deserves some minutes. Like, like what's the worst that could happen? Y'all trash anyway, so fuck it. So
What about you, Howard?
Boston. I mean, what did Boston get out of this? They got like what
A
money?
2nd-round pick.
A 2nd-round pick that I mean, it's probably gonna be some dude over in Arabia that's never gonna come over to the league. So it's like whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel bad for Bo, honestly. Like, can I just get a chance? Can I just go somewhere and just get a shot?
Yo,
Yeah,
that hype on Bol though was real before he even came in the league. When him and Shaq's son would be making them little highlight mixtapes, I'm like, yo, this dude Bol gonna be nice, all right, that. And he just gets getting passed like a veggie tray. You know what I'm saying?
The great thing is he's a guy when he like gets some time, he do decently. It's not like he's just complete trash. I just don't feel like nobody wants to develop him. Nobody wants to give him
I
a
feel
chance.
like Bobo is kind of like when Taco Fall checks into a game, it's for like laughs
Yeah,
and
it was
giggles.
like
I feel like I feel like that's what it is with Bobo.
But
It's like when Taco Fall checks in the game.
But with Taco Fall really didn't have skill. He was just big. Bobo has some type of skill. I just don't feel like he get a chance to show it off.
he hasn't. Actually, he has not.
And it's understandable. Like when you going behind a yoke, like you're not going to get a chance to like.
I'm trying to keep a straight face.
Yo, y'all are.
The reason why I'm laughing is because there was this one game. I forgot who they were playing, but this is what resonated with me. That okay, that's probably why he doesn't play much. All right, that he he had the ball right, and he was trying to, he had that Yamin going, trying to give him the yanks with the yo-yo, and he shot it from like the mid range in some kind of way. It got stuck between the backboard and the rim. It was like stuck. And I was like, yo, how the fuck did you do that from that far away?
Yeah, no, that's definitely.
How tall is Bobo? Anyway,
7'1", 7'2", something like that.
7'1". He do have some yanks on him though. So Orlando, hey, if you want a shot to play in the NBA, Orlando's the perfect place to go. Because they handed they are what is the word? They're potential rich right now. They have a lot of guys with a lot of potential, and they might be just trying to figure out who sticks and who doesn't. I don't think they're like in love with Mo Bamba because I don't think that they can afford to keep him. Because I don't think that Wendell Carter, Mo Bamba, I don't think that one works right now. You know what I'm saying? They it's like the Twin Towers, but I don't think either one of them is skilled enough to play to each other's strengths and look good. So hey, maybe he might crack the rotation, maybe he won't, but it is what it is.
So let's switch over to your Suns. Your Suns acquired Aaron Holiday, another guard. Why do you think they'll need a move like that?
It is nothing to do with Aaron Holiday as a person or nothing like that. What I'm about to say, or right that the sole reason why they're bringing Aaron Holiday is because I think Campaign's injury with his wrist is a lot more serious than what they're releasing to the public. So, I mean, what did they get Aaron Holiday for what, like $250,000 or something like
cash
that? Like cash or like that?
They basically just kind of
he is literally insurance, right? As the second Shamit comes back and Campaign comes back, he's gonna be in clothes like us every game. But hey, good on him. He leaves the Wizards and he gets a chance to get a ring, possibly. So good on him. I ain't gonna spend too much time on this.
Yeah, there's not much to say. This, I mean,
yeah,
you got the subject matter expert on the Suns, so I'll just let him take care of that one.
All right.
If Javion Carter wasn't cracking the rotation, you know what I'm saying? And he's like a stout defender, though he's undersized. I don't see Aaron Holiday cracking the rotation. I mean, maybe in like blowout minutes, he could, relieve, Chris Paul, Elf Payton. That's the crazy thing. If you can't get minutes behind Elf Payton, then it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? You got a big problem. How do you know? Like,
I don't.
Terrible.
If Elf Payton is what keeping you from getting on the floor, you got bigger problems.
Every year, Elfrid Payton go for like a 3 to 5 game stretch where you feel like, hey man, maybe he's figuring it out.
Yeah, he is like the like what we was talking on the last show about, like, whatever they did in college kind of sold him on, did they draft that? He is the epitome of that. Like, hey, maybe there might be something there. Maybe we could fix him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, you remember that little goofy thing he used to keep off his head and look like this?
Oh, what is that thing called? Lonnie Walker from the Spurs used to have that too. It's I gotta look that up, but it's like a Florida thing.
Yeah, it's like Wicks or something like that. I don't know. All right, so the Boston Celtics, we're bringing back my man Theis. I don't know why we let him walk in the first place, but we sent in Houston Dennis Schroeder, and 2 people we don't even care about. Dennis Schroeder was the key to this.
Who was the other 2 people y'all sent?
Enes Freedom and freaking.
He got waived already.
And Bruno Fernando. Like, who cares?
They're both gonna get waived. Okay, so with this trade, right? I don't know how big of a role Theis will play, with the emergence of Rob Williams, and you got Horford backing him up, though he starts. But he knows the system, though. You know what I'm saying? So I think they're just trying to get guys that know the system and vets in there, because they were never going to be able to keep Schroeder past this season. So they probably looked at, like, let's try and get something for him now. But at the same time, I don't see the issue with keeping Schroeder and just letting him walk because teams have done that. But there's another move that we're going to get to that they made later on in the day that kind of
Yeah,
compensates for that.
definitely. I'm about to bring it up now. Actually, that trade was mainly about this trade. We brought in Derek White. We sent in San Antonio Josh Richardson, 2022 first round pick, and dang, Romeo Lanford. Goodbye, boy.
With that trade, or like that, um, they have to be extremely high on Derek White because before Josh Richardson left, he was like the definition of 3-and-D. He's playing good defense and he was knocking down his shots. So if White can come in there and play defense and knock down shots or like that, that's a perfect move. Because that whole the marriage between him and DeJounte Murray, he was kind of getting in his way because he likes to have the ball sometimes because he doesn't really score well off the ball, per se, outside of like the perimeter. But it's a good pickup for the Celtics because you
Yeah,
get
he can
younger.
run the offense. Like that's
Yeah.
mainly what we need. A guy that can run the offense, bring it down court. He got decent size on him, and he can run the offense. That's mainly what that trade was about. We just need somebody that can get the ball to Brown
So
and
that
Tatum.
means that boy Naismith is gonna have to step up.
Yeah,
He's gonna have to step up because Langford, in certain situations, certain games, he would come in there, give him about 5-7 minutes a game, get him a couple points, play some D. So Naismith's gonna have to fill that role. Though it's not a very large role, but it gives rest to like the Jaylen Browns, the Marcus Smarts of the world, because you're taking Schroeder off the floor, who is really a true point guard, who can run the offense.
but so is Derek White. That's really what Derek White is
Yeah,
too.
I mean, if it's a fit though, you know what I'm saying? If it works like that, because
I think
Schroeder is a guy. Not to cut you off, you know what I'm saying, but Schroeder's a guy that he doesn't have to score to be effective. He's a pass first kind of dude, and he's extremely quick. And Derek White, in his own right, is extremely quick and has a good shot. So I just want to see how it works out. But they made some good moves.
Derek White is mainly just a guy that we need to get like 14 points, 12 to 14 points. We just need him to come in. He could be a nice little fourth option out here. He can get Robert Williams open shots, and that's mainly what we're looking for. How you feel on these trades?
And the reason why I like it for them is because when Marcus Smart comes off the court, I mean, yeah, there's going to be a drop off in defense because Marcus Smart's intensity is up there with some of the best in the league, but he's still kind of a pesky defender, but his shooting is way better than Marcus Smart. Them open jump shots that you get off them driving kicks from Brown and Tatum, he's going to knock those down. So it actually helps him a lot more than it hurts him. Yeah, it's sad to see Schroeder go because he was really coming into that role off the bench, running the offense, getting guys open. But I feel like they have enough star power between Brown and Tatum and enough continuity to where they could overcome that hurdle. So
do you ever ask yourself, he think about that bag that he
I was
fumbled?
literally just gonna say that.
Do you ever think about that? Like, yo, the bag that Schroeder fumbled. Do you think he ever just like lay down the night?
What
like,
made it worse, bro, was his girlfriend or his wife or whatever tweeted out like bet on yourself or some she said something like that when people were clowning him on the internet for it turned out 84 M's from the Lakers for 4 from the Boston Celtics. She said something, and I don't think he will ever get to that point ever again. Even if he has a magical season, I can't see nobody giving Dennis Schroeder no 80 M's. He should have signed that deal because he could have been he could have been thugging it out with the Lakers right now and still been getting paid.
He should have signed that deal. Worst come to worst, he making $20 million a year and getting traded.
And now look, you in Houston with a bunch of nuggets. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of kids. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Howard, what you thinking about these deals?
Yeah, I don't know. I like Boston's bring back Dice. Schroeder, I kind of feel bad for him because you like to see people invest. I'm worth more money. All right, go show us. And then I don't know. It fell apart because him and OKC, like he was nice. Like he was cooking. So I don't know. Maybe he gets it done. Houston, he finds himself so he can get one more deal. I doubt it, but
you think he gets bought out maybe because his contract isn't extremely large.
No, he'll still
half the season's gone. You think he maybe gets bought out? Maybe.
Nah. I think Houston will try to probably just keep him for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
because he get bought out. If he get bought out, where do he go? Like a place that could use him is maybe the Knicks, maybe. Like, or he can go be a backup in
He
Miami.
could go. He could go to the Knicks. He could possibly go to like maybe Denver. Denver could probably use
I
another
mean,
point guard.
if he wanna like go solidify a team, I say maybe go be a backup in Miami. I feel like that'd be a good place for him.
That would be a perfect place for him because he'll play meaningful basketball.
Yeah,
And he may
definitely.
not get that $84 million contract, but he could get like a 3-year, $40 million deal from somebody, you know.
Yeah.
But it'll work out for him because I mean he can play basketball. So that's the other
Yeah,
thing.
he's a
There's
very
there's
like
a lot of guys that stick around in the league because they can play basketball. So he'll be fine. He'll continue to play basketball because he's not an incompetent player. And his quickness, you can't. There's some of the stuff he does you can't teach, like his quickness,
yeah,
and he can
facts,
finish pretty well with his size. So he'll be all right.
facts. All right, so Trez on his way to back home to Charlotte. He a North Carolina native, getting to go home. Ish Smith on his way out. I feel bad for Ish. And Vernon Carey in that deal. How y'all feeling about this?
They did right by Trez
Yeah,
because
definitely.
there's another trade we're gonna bring up that makes sense of why he had to get sent out because they had to start clearing salary to make room for this guy that they bring in. But
Definitely.
there was a need for a backup center. I don't think PJ Washington is a traditional. He's not a center, and the position they try to play him in is center. He's more of like a power forward. That's where he can thrive better. So you get Trez off the bench. Yes, he's undersized, but I feel like he's gonna bring a level of intensity and a level of maturity to that young roster, and they can rally behind that. And because right now they're in the playing tournament, and you need a guy like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, Trez single-handedly beat the Sixers the other night by himself. You know what I'm saying? So you
Yeah,
need guys
definitely.
that are like that, like high emotional guys that'll keep people in check. You know what I'm saying? Because the problem with Charlotte is it's an extremely young roster, and there's not a lot of veterans on there that are keeping people in check.
And you need that guy. I feel like he gonna probably come off the bench, and you need that guy off the bench that can go get you some buckets that gonna energize the team off the bench. I feel like, and then with Lamelo, I feel like his numbers gonna go up because he's gonna be able to run the floor, get more easier like dunks and stuff. I like that move for Charlotte.
That Kelly Oubre, that Oubre PJ Trez bench rotation is gonna be nasty, you know, because Trez can you can give Trez the ball in the paint and move out the way and let him do his thing. I've seen him score in the biggest of dudes. He's crafty, he gets to his spots, and he can pass a little too. They wanted because earlier in the day they were talking about getting Podol from the Spurs, but the Spurs wanted I think it was Kai Jones, PJ Washington, and a first round pick. And that was going to be way too much for Jacob Podol. So
Yeah,
they did the
no,
best
that
with
is.
what they had at their hands. So I mean, worst come to worst, I mean, it doesn't work out. He's a free agent after this year, so
Yeah,
it is what it
definitely
is.
light. And yeah, it definitely wouldn't have made sense for Poto because at the end of the year, depending on where Indiana direction is, you might be able to use them same pieces in order to go get Miles Turner.
Miles Turner, yeah.
So it definitely doesn't
And
make sense.
PJ's young. The guy that they just drafted, Kai Jones, is a first round pick. You
Yeah.
could, like you said, you could package that together for a Miles Turner down the road if Indiana is dead set on getting rid of him. So
How are you
Yeah, I like
liking
the
this?
move. I like the move for Charlotte. He brings energy. They're being a little aggressive. I think they're trying to get some pieces together, maybe make a little run. I'm not saying they get pissed first round, but make it interesting. It'll sell jerseys. It'll bring people to the stands. I like the move.
Charlotte right now, I feel like what they're trying to do, it just proved to LaMelo that they're going to do everything in their power to build a winning team around him. Because you don't want to get to that point where it's like, all right, he's gonna probably stay after his rookie contract to get that max extension. But you don't want him to get like these other players 7 years in the 7 year mark where they just say, yeah, I can't win here and leave. So I feel like right now what they're doing is just trying to prove to LaMelo they're gonna do whatever it takes to build that winning franchise around him.
on that roster, who do you think is the locker room like per se, like the leader or the voice of the locker room on that
I,
roster right now before Trez shows up?
I
Who
feel
do you
like
think
I feel like
was?
it's probably I feel like it's probably Gordon Hayward. He's probably the
Yeah,
guy that like keeps everybody calm because everybody else is like young and everybody else is just like
Yeah,
yo, we just want to hoop. They not even like yo whatever. They just want to hoop. So I feel like
Yeah.
Gordon Hayward, he's been an all-star. You know, he getting paid the big bucks. I feel like he's that guy. I feel like Terry Rozier is also a guy like coming from a winning franchise, and not even necessarily that they won like the championship, but he
It's
coming
just a
from a
different
franchise.
culture.
Yeah, he had a culture, and he played with a lot of nice pieces over in Boston. So I feel like whenever like they need somebody to dig in their ass, I feel like it probably is
And that's why I feel
Terry.
like the pickup of Trez will do more good off the court than it will the on court production. Because if Trez speaks, you're gonna listen. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna bulk up to him and let it go on one after the other because he commands your attention. And what he's telling you isn't anything wrong. You know what I'm saying? He makes you want to play harder. You know what I'm saying? I've
Right.
seen these Washington Wizards games, watching them. Like he rallies the troops. He may not be the best guy out there or the tallest dude out there, but the level of energy that he plays with, like we've touched on, will go a
He gonna
lot
give
longer.
100% no matter what.
And
Like,
that's their biggest problem is their defense. You know what I'm saying? They can
yeah,
score with the best of them, but they give up a lot of points as well. So I think
definitely.
it was a good move for the locker room.
All right, let's move back over to your Suns. Your Suns decided to go get Torrey Craig from Indiana. They sent out Jalen Smith and a second round pick. You like that move?
For Indiana, I do because Jalen Smith was the 10th overall pick in the draft last year, and the direction they're trying to go is they want to get younger. So if all you got to do is give up Torrey Craig, and you get somebody of that caliber, you know what I'm saying? Then that's good. I mean, Torrey Craig played for us last year. He'll just give us meaningful minutes off the bench. He's another wing defender to give Jay Crowder and Bridges rest. It's not like the moves we made today aren't like pendulum shifting moves. It's just depth. That's all we traded was for depth. We had no plans, no intentions of ever giving Jalen Smith the fair shot that he deserved to showcase his talent. So
Y'all
I'm
got your
glad.
core. Y'all,
Yeah,
it's
that's what I'm
like,
saying. So I'm happy
yeah,
that he was able to go somewhere where he could possibly showcase his talent because I feel like when he did get that opportunity when Aiton and McGee were out, he ripped off like 4 games in a row of double doubles. So the talent's there. So good for Indiana. I think they made out well on this. Good for Phoenix for giving him that opportunity to go and you know give somebody meaningful minutes. So I feel like it's kind of a wash. So it's a win-win.
You don't think this gives you guys a little bit more depth to make a run? Like, just for injuries, you don't like that. I mean, I
Yeah,
like
that's what I
whoever.
said. That's what I said. Yeah, it's depth. He can relieve Bridges and Crowder from their wing
Yeah.
defending positions, and he can when he gets hot, he can shoot threes too. You know, so
And
it's
he's
more
been there.
depth. He's been there. Yeah.
definitely. All right, y'all. It's time to spice it up. I feel like this was the second biggest move of the day. We ain't gonna get to the biggest move yet, but the second biggest move of the day, Dallas is receiving Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertan, and Washington get Kristaps and a future second round pick. What do y'all feel about this move?
Dallas won. They got
Right
rid of
now?
Porzingis, and then they bring back some decent pieces. I mean, Dallas won because Porzingis, like, I'm sorry, but the dude's not good.
Is he
He just,
washed? Do you think he's washed, or do you think he just can't stay on the court?
I just don't think he cares anymore. To be honest with you, like, he really doesn't play like he cares. He's like the biggest dude on the court, and he is so scared to go to the rim, and it's very annoying.
What if
So
I
I don't
said the
know.
Knicks? What if I told you that the Knicks ruined him?
Hey, we might have, and if we did, whatever. He still got paid, so he can't be mad.
Okay, well, what you thinking about this?
Like how I said, I think the Mavericks money wise is kind of a wash because it didn't improve their salary cap anyway because Bertans and Dinwiddie combined for the next 3 years cancel out Porzingis' trade. As far as potential wise, if you can keep him healthy for a full year and pair him with someone like Brad and Kuz, I feel like Washington is a place where he's not under a lot of pressure. But I saw this thing on ESPN where they said, yeah, Porzingis is a unicorn because no one's ever seen anything like him, but he's a unicorn because you never see him. Like real unicorns. You've never seen them before. You know what I'm saying? So it's the injuries, and it's not stuff he can control. I mean, he's 7'3" and extremely lanky, so the injuries are starting to pile up. But when he does play, he's a dominant player. The problem I have is he's being paid like a second fiddle to another superstar. You know what I'm saying? And they categorize him when he's healthy as one of the better players in the league. But when he gets an opportunity to run the show, like when games or when there's Doncic out, he can't create his own shot. He forgets that he's 7'3" and he can sky for every rebound if he wanted it. He could put his back to the basket, you know, and just hook it over everyone. So that's the issue with him is that he would rather he's an overpaid, extremely tall, shooter.
So for the past, I want to say 2 episodes that we done had, all I heard from you is Luca do not have any help. Luca do not have any help. Luca doing everything by himself. Do you think
He is doing
this
everything by
deal?
himself.
Do you think this deal finally get Luca the help that he needs?
A
I
little
think
bit.
Luca, not to cut you off, Howard, I think Luca will get because the reason why Bertans is getting paid like he did was because he was the most like deadliest shooter in the league that year. They were sending 2, 3 people at him every time he touched the ball and he shot it 1 foot off the running. He was knocking it down. I feel like Luca would get the most out of him. You know what I'm saying? Spencer Dinwiddie is kind of a question mark. I feel like that was like an expensive insurance pickup in case Brunson leaves, because there's guys like Dennis Schroeder going to the Rockets who could potentially get bought out. And if you wanted an insurance policy, you could have got him. But the only way they were going to get rid of Porzingis was they had to take that same amount of salary back.
So basically, what you're telling me is this don't do nothing for Luca. Luca still
No,
got to play everything on
no,
his
no,
back.
no, no. It gives him another ball handler because Dinwiddie's not trash. It's just his contract attached to him. People look at him in a different light. If he was playing for like $5, $6, $7 million, nobody would be saying nothing, But he's playing for 18, $20 million, so it's a different story. But it gives them another ball handler with Tim Hardaway probably done for the year, you know. And Bertans he's knocked down. It's just I don't know, his confidence or something's off or whatever like that. I feel like if they could get him shooting like he was, he'll be big time for them. I feel like that's the prize of the trade for them as well. For them between Dinwiddie and Bertans, if they can get him shooting like how he was a season ago, that's gonna go lengths and miles for them.
All right, definitely. All right, so with this next trade, I'm just gonna be the first to say it. Congratulations to the Brooklyn Nets for winning the 2022 NBA championship. I feel like I just need to go in and say that. Congratulations to the Brooklyn Nets. But in this move, we got Philly receiving James Harden and Paul Millsap. Okay. And Brooklyn will receive Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round picks. One is the 2022 and one is in 2027. First question, who won this trade?
You go ahead, Howard. You take this one.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's Brooklyn. Like, I don't know. Like, you get Ben Simmons and 2 first-round picks, and you get some pieces, and then James Harden. I mean, he's gonna go down and he's gonna play well with the 76ers. Like, they're gonna be a tough team to beat now, but I don't know. You're starting to, Brooklyn won for long term. Like, if now unless James Harden goes to the Sixers and they win a championship this year or maybe next year, I don't know. They're giving themselves a chance to win now because they have to win now. Because I don't know how long Embiid's got that he can be playing at this caliber. Like, right now, he's top 5. I don't know how long he can do this. So their window is shortening with the talent, and I think James, he does bring really good score to go along with Embiid. So not so much pressure on Embiid. Brooklyn.
Let me ask you this, Howard. How do you think this trade makes Philly at least better than Milwaukee?
I don't know about all that, but it gives him a chance. It'll go to 7, and if James, so the reason I'm not going to say that is because there's been a big thing about James Harden is in the playoffs where what has he done? And I'm not going to say he makes the Sixers better than a team with Giannis who just went 40-10 for how many games in the finals and won. I'm not going to say that, not yet. Now, if he comes out snapping, we can talk about it later, but he hasn't done enough for me to say that in his career.
All right, so from the Brooklyn side of things, how you feeling about it?
I don't like Ben Simmons. I'm not gonna lie, but they get a young, really good defender. He's not gonna shoot, but he's not really good. He's exceptional defender. I just think he's getting paid for too much. Like he's getting paid way too much. But they get 2 first rounders, and they can start to mend the wounds from that terrible trade they made to get him. But this closes up some wounds a little bit. I mean, they got a lot of fixing to do to I don't know to
Oh,
build because
it's crazy to me. Like from Brooklyn side, I love this trade. I feel like Brooklyn just basically closed up every single gap that they had. I feel like with Brooklyn, they basically got their center. They got we don't know what's going on with Joe Harris. They got their 3-point shooter. They got Ben Simmons, who is not trash. And then they got their picks. I feel like this was a like A+ trade for Brooklyn because Andre Drummond is not horrible. When you give him that specific role of just getting the rebounds and getting dunks, I feel like you just gave that. That's all he has to do here.
he's gonna get in foul trouble like always though.
I
And you
mean,
can't take him to the line because he's not very good there.
so all right, you getting a young. He came second in defensive player of the year last year. You're getting a young player, a young defensive player who can alleviate pressure off him, so he don't have to get in foul trouble. Howard, K-Wall, what you think about it, man?
Which side? The Brooklyn side?
Yeah, both.
All right. From the Philly standpoint, they got the guy that they wanted all along because when James was in Houston, he wanted to go to Philly first and foremost, but they weren't trying to come up off Ben Simmons back then. So I feel like it's all or nothing now until his contract is up because they got him this year and they got that player option next year. It's all or nothing. So in the next 2 years, they have to win a championship.
Yeah.
It's now or nothing because, like you said, I don't know how long Embiid can keep up this level with it all on his shoulders, but having Harden lightens the load a bit because Harden is a score for he's like a hybrid kind of score first guard, but he's like a point guard as well. Maxi's good in his own right, but Harden brings a different facet to the game that Maxi could never bring. No offense to him. And I think for Philly is for one, you get the guy that you want, right? But you don't give up the Thibault and the Maxi because that's
Yeah.
what they wanted. Brooklyn wanted one or the other, and they did it without giving that up. And so for Philly, I mean, they're like on the top of the Eastern standings without Ben Simmons right now. So
Yeah.
I can't really count him a part of this. You know what I'm saying? So you give up your backup center in Drummond and a replaceable 3-point shooter in Curry because you got Korkmaz and you have Danny Green. 2 first-round picks, like I said, that were going to be at the end of the first round anyway because they are always in the thick of the top records in the league for the guy that you wanted all along, James Harden, and a guy that wants to be there, a superstar that actually wants to be somewhere where he's going.
Yeah, he's gonna play too. He's gonna
play.
Yeah.
Right? He's gonna want to put on. He's want to prove something, right? So for Philly, it's a win-win for both teams because everybody got what they wanted. As far as Brooklyn goes, right? It's gonna take some time, and it's gonna the chemistry is gonna need to mesh a little bit. And I feel like this might even be a move for next season. You know what I'm saying? Because Kyrie only plays road games right now. KD is injured, and we don't know how long he's going to be out, right? Ben Simmons still has to get back into game shape because he's been at home chilling, So he still has to get back into game shape. He said he needs to talk to his therapist, get mentally prepared to be playing in New York or whatever like that. So we don't know. If they all come back together this year, I mean, it's the perfect storm for Brooklyn because you got your score first players in Kyrie and KD. You got your knockdown shooters in Curry and Joe Harris, depending on when he comes back. You have a center that you could throw out there to, eat fouls against the Embiids and Jokic's if you have to, and Drummond, and he's a glass cleaner. And you have your defensive stalwart with Ben Simmons, which is what they lacked last year in the finals. They didn't have that. They had to outscore everybody to win their games. That was the like how we were touching on Charlotte. Their game plan is okay. We're just gonna outscore them.
I mean, I think that should be the point of every game.
No, I get that. Yeah, no. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is that teams are like obviously you have to outscore the opponent to win, But
Yeah.
that's their only form of winning. Some teams are like, okay, we're gonna lock them down and make tonight tough for them. They're gonna beat us shooting from the perimeter. You're gonna get your baskets as you go, and you're gonna accumulate a lead. As far as Brooklyn, it was we have to score 140, 150 points every night to win because we're giving up 130, 120 a night. You
All right.
know,
So let me ask y'all this, right? Past this year, right? If Kyrie decided in the summer this is not where he want to be, whatever, is this an enticing move for Kevin Durant to be like, all right, cool. We got foundation pieces that I can stay here, and I feel like I still have a chance to win with.
If Kyrie leaves too, I don't know. I don't know.
No, but so what I'm asking is it enticing for Kevin Durant? Is Kevin Durant? Do you think Kevin Durant can still be like, yeah, I'm still all in if Kyrie wasn't there?
I don't think so.
So you think Kevin Durant will probably move?
Yeah, I
Kevin
mean,
Durant.
why
You
would
know how
you?
Kevin Durant is, bro.
Yeah,
He's the kind of guy he needs as great as he is, and I'm not taking anything from his individual game, but basketball's a team sport, and he's the kind of guy that needs teammates that are on the same level as him, if not even better. You know what I'm saying? So, KD's not going to be sitting there with no Ben Simmons,
yeah. I was just
Steph
shoot.
Curry,
No,
Seth Curry, and Andre Drummond.
So
He gonna go.
looking back, do you think he's looking back at it like it was a huge mistake to leave Golden State in the first place?
um, no. I think he's thinking I shouldn't have traded for James Harden. I should have found someone else because that's we should actually kept. We should just kept the squad. They had him, Kyrie. They had Dinwiddie. They had Levert. They had Allen. I mean, hindsight's 2020, but you just keep that squad, and you got 2 more years after this to be all going to be really good. So I don't know. They shouldn't have traded for James Harden. I mean, they're 13-3 with the three people together, and you got 16 games for all you
That's what
gave
I'm
up for
saying.
James
They
Harden.
blew up. They blew up their bench for one. They blew up all the young pieces that they had. They mortgaged their future with the picks. They got some back today, all for James Harden, and they only played all three of them together. What was it, 16 or 13, 13 or 16 games together? That was it. You blew up all that for 13 games of something that never was.
I mean, what I'm saying is like, I don't feel like that was all. You know, I feel like if Kyrie would have, I can't tell a man to get vaccinated. I can't sit there. That is a personal
Yeah.
choice of that man, right? But for the team, I feel like maybe he should have did it for the team. But at the same time, it's like it, I think it was personal choices that were made
Yeah.
that they didn't all play together. So from a James Harden perspective, I can understand why he was upset with that situation. So, all right. So basically today, right? I feel like it became a 4-team race in the East, right? I believe it became Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Philly, and Miami. I would like for y'all to rank them teams for me.
Ooh, so I think are we talking like who do I think is gonna win?
Yeah, yeah, like chances to win
I
the
think.
whole
I
thing,
think.
or
I
at
think
least
number
go to the
one.
finals.
I think number one is Milwaukee
Yeah, the
because
Bucks.
I mean they're doing what the Spurs do, right? They sleepwalk through the season if
Yeah.
they finish fourth or fifth, whatever, and then they just turn it up for the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So Milwaukee's number one, especially with the moves they made today. Number two, it's a tie between the Heat and Philly. It's like 2A and 2B
It's
for
gotta be
them
the
two.
Heat.
But right now it's got to be the Heat. I got to see how James Harden looks with Embiid and
Yeah.
all them. But right now it's the Heat because their continuity. 3 would be Philly and 4 would be Brooklyn. Because I don't know if any of them are gonna. I don't know if KD's even gonna come back this season. Because you got to think, why was James Harden trying to force himself out of there so bad right now? It can't be just because Kyrie was only gonna play road games. He must know something about KD's knee or whatever it is that the rest of the world don't know. You know what I'm saying? And they asked him on TNT tonight when he was doing the All-Star draft, how's he coming with his rehabilitation and when do we expect him to come back? If you could expand on that. And he said no. So
So
it's got to be a lot more serious than what he's letting on. So James is probably like, I need to get out while I still can.
So as of right now, the last thing we heard was after the All-Star game, after the All-Star break. That was the last thing we heard on KD's injury. I mean, so as of right now, that's what I'm going off of after the All-Star break. So with these trades today, I actually think Brooklyn became the number one team. I feel like they filled every single hole that they needed. And I don't know. Number 2, I feel like, all right, it's kind of hard for me between Milwaukee and the Sixers because Milwaukee did add size today, but who can really contend with Embiid down there? Huh?
True.
So they added size, but nobody can really contend with Embiid. And if James Harden can get back to the guy what James Harden can be, that's pretty dangerous. And all them pieces that you just said that they still kept in that. That's the reason why I would say Philly became number 2, Milwaukee 3, and Miami would be lucky not to get swept by any of them teams.
Ooh. True, but what you're overlooking with Miami is they got something they got something that Philly doesn't have. They have continuity and chemistry, right? Yeah. That is a complete team from start to finish. They have everything, every switchable kind of player you could think of. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to be like a easy out for anybody. Philly's not just going to roll Miami 4 games and be done with it. James Harden or not. You know what I'm saying?
You going to put Bam down there?
I don't think Miami's going to roll Philly.
You going to put Bam down there with Embiid?
He's going to have to step up. That's their best
You going to
put
Bam down there with Embiid on Island?
That's his all-star center. I mean, how many dudes in the league can stop Embiid?
Exactly.
We're not going to single out. We're not going to single out Bam. That's what I'm saying. We're not going to single out Bam like he's trash and can't hold him. There's not really anybody in the league that can stop him. You know what I'm saying?
On that Miami team, who guarding Giannis?
It'd probably have to be Bam. Okay. No. It'd be PJ. It'd definitely be PJ.
He's stopping Giannis.
It'd be PJ.
He's stopping Giannis.
He's not stopped. You can't stop Giannis. You're asking outlandish stuff.
PJ,
you're asking for outlandish stuff right now because
I'm asking you a question.
No one's checking Joel Embiid. There isn't anyone in the league that can check Joel Embiid. That's the reason why he's so dominant. Giannis, you can't stop Giannis. You can only suppress him. And they're the team that they got over the hump on over like that. I'm not saying that they're gonna go in and roll Philly or roll Milwaukee, but I don't think they get rolled either because they're a tough team too.
Series right now. I'm asking you a series right now. 7 games between Miami and Philly. What do you say? You think it's go all 7?
If the series started tomorrow, I think Miami will win in 7.
In 7.
7. Miami in 7.
All right, Milwaukee and Miami.
Milwaukee will probably win in 7.
Whoa, I'm 6.
5. 5 at best.
5
at best.
Have y'all watched them play Miami?
They play
because look, yes, Milwaukee in the own right is great, right? But they don't have them flamethrowers off the bench that they had last year. All right, that you know what I'm saying? Them dudes was overachieving during the finals. That's what was pissing me off about that series against the Suns is because all them dudes was overachieving. They're not doing that this year. You know what I'm saying? Miami got Tyler Hero coming off the bench. They have Kyle Lowry now. Duncan Robinson is knocked down. They got Jimmy Butler, PJ's guarding whoever you want to guard, and Bam's a dominant, big man in his own right. We'll just have to see. You can roll your eyes if you want, but I don't think Miami's just gonna get rolled by anybody. They're a well-coached team.
I mean, they happened last year.
Who did they get rolled by last year?
Milwaukee.
What was the final series?
4-zip.
They swept them.
Yeah.
I know they did. I know. I'm messing with y'all. But I think this is a better Miami team because they have Kyle Lowry. We'll just have to see. I mean, all this stuff is speculative. So I like Miami because they're like well coached and they play as a cohesive unit. I feel like there's a lot of individualism in Philly with Embiid and Harden because when watching these Philly games like that, when it comes down to crunch time or like that, they rely solely on Embiid to make something happen for them. And after playing 41, 42 minutes over like that, and you need Embiid to hit a step back 3 over 2 dudes, like that's not his game. That's why they lost to Phoenix.
You know what this Philly team is right now? You know what this Philly team is? It's the Rockets the years with like Dwight. But you got a way better Dwight in Embiid. You got a big that can actually do stuff for himself, unlike a Dwight Howard. It's them teams.
It could even be the Houston teams with a Capella.
No, Capella can't do nothing on his own. Embiid, you could give the ball to and you could trust him to go get a bucket.
Facts.
So
Facts.
so it's them teams. That's basically what this. That's basically what this Philly team is now. It's some Rocket teams with a actual big man that can do what he do. I think if they play Miami, I think Miami will probably get against Philly. It might go 6. Against Milwaukee, Miami go 5. Against the Nets, depending on who got home court advantage, it'll go 6 or 7. Because we don't know how many games Kyrie gonna be in. So
Nah, I don't know.
that's what I'm seeing. I think
You
Miami.
don't think Chicago finishes in the top 4 now?
I was just gonna bring that.
So they're
Yeah.
gonna finish in the top 4, right? But of them 4 teams, is Chicago on that level?
No, Chicago is way too top heavy. They don't have the depth to compete
Yeah.
with those kind of teams. So yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not like so. This is when I'm saying these 4 teams. I'm not necessarily talking rankings.
Yeah.
I'm just talking like who do you think got the best chance of making it to the finals? Who got the best chance of
I think for Philly, it's like the Los Angeles Rams. It's a championship or bust at this point. You know what I'm saying?
this year, or do you think they got? You think
The
they
next
got,
2 years that you have James
Yeah.
Harden on your team, and you're
Yeah,
paying
the
him
next
$50
2.
million a year, and you can't sign no other free agents because of that. It is championship or bust.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. Because
that
after
team that
these
you
2
think
years,
people
James
want to come
Harden,
to?
at the end of these 2 years, James Harden will be going on 35.
He's
So
done.
it's championship or bust.
So do you think that's the team that players might want to come to or no?
I mean,
I
I
mean,
don't
they
know.
want to take a veteran minimum because they have no salary cap after today.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think the
I mean, you
East.
could always do cap gymnastics, you know, and come up with money, but you're not going to be able to come up with enough to sign like an impactful player unless you were able to buy him in to come in and playing for peanuts, you know what I'm saying, to win a chip.
East just got really tough, and I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting playoff this year.
So who do you think has the tougher conference, the East or the West?
It's the East. Like
I
as
think so
far as
too.
like somebody coming out, the West is the top heavy. There's 3 teams. You got Phoenix, you have the Warriors, and then you got the dark horse in Memphis.
And Memphis can roll in anywhere and
That's
smack
what I'm saying.
anybody in the
Yeah.
mouth.
That's
I
what I'm
like
saying.
Memphis. They can.
I
Hey,
do.
these teams we talking about, I've seen them roll up into Milwaukee. I've seen them roll into Philly. I've seen them roll into Miami and smack them sideways. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like Memphis.
That team is the dark horse that got a chance. Kind of like y'all were last year. Y'all, it's kind of like y'all established yourselves last year. Like y'all, like, all right, we could be here, and then this year y'all came out like, yeah, no, we deserve to be there. Memphis they're going through their year, kind of like y'all last year, where it's like, yeah, we could get there, and then but I don't think nobody wants to see Memphis in the playoffs. It's not like
No, that's like how we was talking about Charlotte. Like not because of anything Charlotte does, they're just gonna be a tough out. Same thing with Memphis. They ain't gonna go down quiet neither. I don't
I
see them
think
getting rolled by nobody because they have 2, 3 of everything. You know,
I think on the right pathway, they could maybe make it to the Western Conference Final. If they can make it through without seeing y'all, I think if they can make it through without seeing Phoenix in them first 2 rounds, they'll be okay. I don't think
they have to either be us or Golden State to get.
Yeah, I
there.
know. I think they match up better with Golden State.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably be if they can avoid y'all until the Western
no.
Conference Finals. I think they can make it there. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I really like it. So overall, so this gonna be the final question here. Overall, on the day, how y'all feel like this trade deadline went? If y'all had to give it a letter grade,
I mean, there's only like 2 big ones. You know,
Yeah.
everything else was kind of mid. I give it like a B minus.
all right. What about you, Art?
I'm gonna give it a B because I think it's not terrible. It's not that there wasn't that many exciting things, but I do think in like a couple years when we look back at this trade deadline, things that happened here, this deadline will definitely influence teams going on. And we'll look back and be like, that's why that team did or did not pull the trigger because this move happened. So we'll see. We'll see what this does for the future because it's hard to judge.
I definitely think a lot of teams got better today, so I'll give it
Yeah.
a round. I'll say a B also. I'm looking around there. But hey, man, it's been a great show, y'all. Y'all have fun. Hey, let's push the promo real quick. Let's go ahead and push it out there. What
Go
we
ahead,
got? What we
Kari. Hold it
got?
down. Go ahead, Kari P. You got it. Hold it
Oh,
down.
y'all want me to talk about it?
Yeah.
Free money, free money, free money. We out here giving out $100 the first. What we giving out the second, K-Wall?
50 bones.
Hey, Howard, what we giving out the third?
25.
Yo, we giving out free money. All you have to do is subscribe to the YouTube. Oh, follow us on TikTok. Like our last post on YouTube and TikTok, and send me a message on TikTok saying all done. All you got to do is type in Stay in Bounds Podcast on all these platforms, and you will be entered to win some money. We're doing this next Saturday on February 19th. Hey, hopefully y'all like money. I like money. So, hey, let's do it. Hey, good show, y'all. This been the Stay in Bounds Podcast. I'm your host, Kari P. I'm signing off for Howard and K-Wall. Hey, everybody have a good night.
Yeah. See you.
Peace.